viewers to another episode of My Life Experiences. My name is Nyaniwa Sosola, your usual host. Today I've got a very interesting episode. I'm having a banker with me today. She's a very good friend of mine, and she's a professional banker. I just want her to tell us in general what banking is all about and all the nitty-gritties to do with banking. Why should somebody be banked? So welcome, Cynthia. Thank you for accepting to be on this podcast. I'm sure my viewers will enjoy your presence as well. Just tell us, for starters, a little bit about yourself. Who is Cynthia as a person?
All right. No, thank you so much, Wesley, for having me on your show. My name is Cynthia Mchiela. I'm a banker. I've been in banking for 10 years now. I started banking in February 2012, I think, to be exact. I'm a wife and a mother of two beautiful children. One is 2 and the other is 6. So I have a very active life, not just being a banker, but my household life is also a very busy one. So professionally, I think I've enjoyed my time in banking over the past 10 years.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So was that your first job in 2012 when you joined banking?
Yes.
Oh, really?
It was my first job, and interestingly, I think what we don't do too much of in Malawi is we don't really do too much of at school jobs.
Yes.
So in university, I would have jobs here and there. But this was my first professional job.
Okay.
I think when I was in university, I did a semester or a summer doing sales door to door.
Yes.
So I think that was the opening. That was the opening lead into being a salesperson. So now to be able to sell something once off to someone you have never met, essentially, you have knocked on their door mid-month. In the morning, and then you have no time for what time you can sell.
So was it the cash sales, or you used to sell even on credit?
Cash sales.
Oh my God. So
it meant that when you're leaving that house, you needed to leave with a sale.
Yes.
Otherwise, it meant that you haven't made any money for that day. So that was a very eye-opening experience.
Right here in Malawi?
No, that was in the UK.
Okay. I was surprised.
But it's programs like that, I think, make a difference in building your character up for your career.
Yes.
And I really wish in Malawi we had more of those opportunities for the youth. To learn something, life skills is very important, and even knowing how to conduct yourself with people.
Interacting, because you learn the art of interaction.
Exactly. So I think in Malawi, what I always think is that we start trying to teach people too late.
Yes.
So you're going into the workplace expecting to pick up everything on day one. But I think it's that development that needs to come even as teenagers, as young people.
Because what I've noted from what you are saying, in Malawi, our education, most of the schools is just technical work, schoolwork. And they don't give it a holistic approach, empowering the child how to communicate with people, how to associate, how to speak publicly. So you'll find that you've gone at the workplace, you can't speak in a meeting. You can't pitch out your ideas, you're just so shy. So really, we've got a long way to go. But having said that, just tell me, as now a banker, you've started your job in 2012, what is it that a banker does?
So I think, a bank is a very big space to work in. I think at the end of the day, a bank is there to provide a service. So as a function, really, a bank is usually used for, I'd say even 3 things. You're receiving money, you're paying for a good or service, so meaning you're paying for, your water bills, you're paying for something. You're transferring money across, just to make your process flow of money transactions easier. And then you're also giving people the platform to either save or invest, have access to financing. So I think, as a banker, you are coming in to tie all of these things together for someone. How best do you come about to provide a product that really is able to meet someone's requirement for banking? I think in this day and age, you also have a lot of the digital world that's coming in. So you'll find that some of our rural masses don't even have access to banking at all. How do you get that person now to understand the benefit of being within a bank? And I think part of what we always miss out on is, and when you look at it, people would think banking is, it's limiting, it's costly, they'd perhaps rather have cash. But you look at it, when you look at it holistically, what you're trying to give people is the option to more, just a variety of services. So it's not just trying to get someone to walk into a bank. How does that person be able to, pay for the other things that make their life function in an evolving society? It's easy to walk into a banking hall and come out perhaps with an account. But by not understanding what you want that account for, then we haven't really done our part in trying to help you to meet your exact need. So where I fit in is really that middle ground. Interpreting what the bank is able to provide and being able to match the right needs to the person or to the organization. That is really what I work on a daily basis. Bridging that gap. What is interesting is that I think we need to look at banking perhaps more holistically, in the sense that what is the cost of not banking? Here we're trying to more or less teach people the benefit of, the benefit of having an account is that by having cash, you're actually more at risk.
So it's a security risk.
It's a security risk.
Your cash.
But also, you think of it in the sense that the cost of you keeping that cash in your house, you tend to spend more when you have physical cash. Yet if you have, let's say, a bank account and you have an ATM card, you're going to buy the exact amount for what is required. So if you're swiping 10,000, you swipe 10,000. But yet you'd find that if you have, withdrawn a large amount and you're keeping it in your pocket, there's really more likelihood that you will spend that whole amount.
Okay, so for me, really, I find it like for somebody who is in the hard-to-reach areas, somebody who is from the rural places, already struggling to get money from his tobacco sales, his farming. Now they've come to the bank, and every month they're incurring those costs for banking. I mean, I find it sometimes like a sort of a rip-off. Like, how can somebody really be encouraged to say that I'm going to get the benefit that I need from the bank? Like, supposing in our country, Malawi, our economy is mostly maybe agriculture driven. People, they get money once a year. When they sell their crop. So they have sold it, they have put it securely, because we've talked about securing of the asset, which is the cash. They've put it in the bank, maybe also to guard against overspending, as we've said. But then the cost associated with doing that for a rural person, the money that they will lose through the bank charges, how do you get them to leverage from whatever benefits you may give them as a bank to such people? How do you consider them on how they can really benefit from the banking experience?
No, I think I really like your example, especially when you've talked about the smallholder farmer, because what you'd really want ideally is a situation that even the smallholder farmer is not threatened by the bank. And I think when you look at it, even in other countries, like let's say Kenya, you'd find that perhaps we don't have more traditional banks. Perhaps for them it's mobile money. Because what happens, especially here, is that we don't have the infrastructure. That's the first hindering block. We don't have the right infrastructure. So now you'd find that the people who have to now come in are traveling from a bit too far. So we miss out on a lot of people. So how do we loop them in? So I think primarily what we also need to factor in is that the cost of perhaps not having a bank account is now the cost that it takes on them to travel. Because nothing is carrying cash has its own cost. Because it means that for you to do a transaction, you physically have to leave your house, go to wherever it is that you're going, just to pay for that good. So for people, perhaps if you're trying to send money in the olden days, perhaps you're trying to send money to your village, it meant you have to leave your wherever you are, your locality, to travel to the village to go give money on a monthly basis, just because there was no other option for sending that money. Now you have a bank account that I can send from my account to their account. That cost of me traveling to even send that money elsewhere is now gone. So it's not just security, it's just a cost inconvenience in terms of the cost of actually moving money becomes even higher. So it means that that real person doesn't need to wait for that once a month visit from someone from town to give the money. All they have to do is give an account number, or alternatively, they can give a phone number. So especially for the people who are trying to do business, by not having a transaction history with a bank, you're almost limiting yourself to opportunities.
Yes.
Because it means as an entrepreneur, even as a smallholder farmer, you have no track record of how creditworthy you are. So that is what you're gaining by being in a bank. So you look at the opportunity cost.
All right, thanks so much for that. But now, having said all this that you've said, you've talked about mobile banking. I've been hearing a lot. I'll just take this opportunity to ask you if you know this concept of digital banking. I was looking at it. Somebody was talking about it on the internet, but I couldn't really grasp the difference between this digital banking, because they were recommending that this is the way we should go these days. I couldn't really differentiate it from our traditional banking that we are doing. Do you know what this digital banking concept is all about?
Yes. Yeah. So I think even as I mentioned before, because of our limitations in infrastructure, we almost have to develop the solutions for ourselves here within Africa, within Malawi. So because we know we don't have the physical presence of banks everywhere, but you know you have someone perhaps with a mobile phone who may have access to a bank account, who would want to be banked. So now by not giving them a digital product, you're almost not giving people really the solution that they need. Because perhaps they don't have a banking whole structure where they can walk into, but they have a platform from which they can transact. So you want people to be able to transact from wherever they are. So that's the difference. So in a traditional setting, perhaps people feel more comfortable walking into a banking hall because we have trust that my money is there. This is the bank. I put my 10,000 in. But the same value can also be within your mobile wallet. It can be within your account on your phone, and you can still transact. So,
but for me, I think maybe I'm backward or what. I'd rather go into the banking hall because it's cheap. It's cheaper. Going into the banking hall, you just get, like, for me, I already stay in town, close to the banks.
Right.
So, withdrawing the money from the banking hall, it doesn't cost much. Transacting on the ATM machine. Every time I transact on the ATM machine, I have to pay a cost. So I said, I'm done with this ATM machine. I'll just be going to the bank to draw my cash, then I do my transactions. And actually, I was upgraded at the bank and do a certain like services, executive or what have you.
Yes.
I told them that no, downgrade me. I don't want.
You told them to downgrade you.
I told them to downgrade me. Because, no, I said I don't want to be paying all these costs. I'm working very hard for the money that I'm getting. Why should I have to pay you this much?
Right.
I mean, after all, I don't really visit that executive banking hall that
often.
Just
often.
Once in a while I go there. So does it really warrant me paying all this costs?
Right.
I'd rather just be downgraded. I said no, I can't deal with this.
No, I can't.
That's that. So what I was trying to say is that when the banking, when they are considering this, they should be able to tailor it to the specific customers. If they're dealing with farmers, they should have accounts that are specific.
For farmers.
Even the charges that they give should be specific to those. For students, I know that you've got this categorization, but I don't know if there is the difference in the cost of the financial services costing.
No, I'm not sure. There's a huge difference. Because I think, like you said, you have to have particular products for each your target market, essentially. So you'd find that because you're dealing with students, again, they don't really have too much disposable income. At that point, you don't even have anything. You are literally depending perhaps on allowances from your parents, or you're working a small job. So you're not really earning enough for you to be charged the same way a person who has a salary is charged.
Yeah.
So those charges are very different. So our student account has different charges than would do the account that you ran away from. That's a very different account.
Yes.
But similarly, also for farmers, they're different accounts. And also you'd find that because we also do a lot of work in terms of trying to reach out to the rural masses, you'd find that there are also specific accounts perhaps that would open for beneficiaries for social cash transfers, where literally they don't get any banking charges whatsoever. Because we know that whatever they're receiving from donors, so they really don't get bank charges.
Right.
So you'd find that for most accounts, or perhaps like SME accounts, you want to be an SME banker. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to have an account with the fit for your business. Because by having that account with your registration, everything is there for your business. You know that if time comes for you to have a requirement for capital injection, you call the bank, and the bank says, okay, fine. Looking at your track record that you have with the bank over the past 5 years, we know you can meet this particular loan requirement. We have that track record on base.
But why? Having said that, I just want to know, for you personally, why did you choose a career in banking? At what point did you come to make a decision that I want to go in career in banking?
That's very true. That's a good one. I was raised in a household of a banker.
Now I get it.
I was raised in a household of a banker, and I think for me growing up, to be honest, there was always that interest.
Yes.
Because you'd see them wake up in the morning, the way they present themselves, the way there's something nice about being packaged the right way.
Yes.
And I remember my father when we were young, I'd always wonder, why do you only have 2 color shirts?
Yes.
White or blue? Don't you have any other color you want to wear? No, I'm a banker. What I know looks good on bankers is white and blue. So I think it was that piquing interest. What exactly do you do? Fair enough, my father was in banking, but he was more in the regulator side. But nonetheless, I think banking, growing up in a setting where you're always seeing, some relevance in the field, and that passion really grew from a young age. So when I went to university, I did a degree in accounting and finance.
Ah, really? Yeah.
So I could have been an accountant, but I don't think I have the patience. I don't have the patience. I think accounting really takes you being able to sit down and do accounts, that reconciliation, even the audits. It takes quite a lot. So I did that because back then I don't think at that time I was looking for a degree. At that age, I don't think I had. There was a degree I saw that was a banking degree. Well, at that time, it was a banking degree because you do have the banking certification, but I wanted a degree. So I went into accounting and finance. I finished my degree after 3 years. So after I finished my degree, now you're looking at what do I want to do. So because I've already done the accounting bit in university, I knew accounting is not for me. I don't have that the patience to read accounts to this level. I don't have it, but I still have a keen interest in that particular field, of financial services. So that's how I ended up in banking.
Yeah, but now, what can you tell a youth who is out there? At least you had some mentorship.
Yes.
As you've said, you were coming from a household of bankers.
Yes.
So you had some mentorship close to you, but there are other people, they don't have this mentorship. Just tell them why they should go into banking, how do they go into banking, what they need to do, what should they focus on even at school. Just give that motivation to the youth out there who is considering their career choice.
No, I think, and I think I'm also very passionate about the youth, because I think even when I'm looking at CVs of people who are graduating, there are always these CVs that you see there's potential in this particular candidate.
Yes.
How I love to have been able to be there at the point in their life when you are able to groom someone, to a point where when you're coming into the working environment, you've already really presented yourself in a manner that is really competitive even for the employer. So for those who are interested in banking, I'd say, just by having that interest, take a further step. Because what you tend to find is that people tend to look at their environment in a very narrow world. So you're looking at perhaps banking in a very small sense, perhaps here in Malawi. Also in Malawi, we have to factor in that our banking is not as vast in terms of our products, as in other countries. But being knowledgeable and even reading what you should really be looking out for as a global economy, I think helps you stand out. So if you're going to approach getting a job or getting into banking as I just want to go for an interview because I finished my degree, then that's also perhaps not the best way of going about it. Because I think in any job interview, in any role, being able to stand out is what you're looking for from the onset. And people who stand out, stand out. In most cases, you'd see people who stand out because they have exposed themselves to various opportunities. They have taken that initial interest in making sure that they put their hand up. So I've always said, even if it's a matter of in your classroom, how you interact with your teacher is also important. So you can actually go beyond what you get in class just by asking, teacher, I've read my book, but I'm really interested in this particular topic, and I don't feel that what I've been given is enough. Can I please have more guidance on what else I can read to beef up my knowledge? That's the kind of person I think I've always been. I literally like to
ask questions,
go a bit step further,
step forward,
because that really does help in helping me gear my mind. And I think sometimes with opportunities, you have to also be at a point where you actually are prepared for that opportunity. So if you're expecting for an opportunity to come to you, and you have done no homework, no work in terms of understanding what it is that you're trying to deliver, it becomes very difficult.
So thank you so much, Cynthia, for accepting to feature on this program. Do you have any final words that you want to say to us, the viewer?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think from our conversation, it's been very fruitful. But I think one thing that I would say is there's a lot of benefit in being bound. People shouldn't look at banking as a cost. I think we should look at banking as an opportunity. So I definitely think that is something that people need to consider when perhaps they're choosing the bank or choosing whether to bank or not. Look at the opportunity. You'd find that being banked opens so many doors more than it closes. And definitely for the youth, I would say that have the passion to do your best at what you do. But also I think it's important that for a banker, it's to be able to relate with people. Being able to present yourself to people, be able to present your views to people in a way that is respectful, at least no one goes away being unhappy. You need to be able to make a difference in that person walking into your banking hall. So that really makes a big difference when you're received with a warm welcome. And really, I think, I would say, lastly, I think there's a lot that can be done if people just open their eyes to opportunities that are out there.
Thanks so much, Cynthia. Oh, this was quite an interesting conversation. I've learned a lot from this conversation. And for you viewers, if you are a youth out there trying to make a career decision, if you've got this passion to pursue banking, just follow the advice that is given here and follow through with your passion. You can start right there in school. Make your own research on banking. What is banking all about? Motivate yourself. Everything is possible. Everything is achievable. If there are people also out there who don't want to be banked, who don't want to open a bank account, just be encouraged also by this conversation and open a bank account. There's massive benefits of having a bank account. So thank you so much, Cynthia, for responding positively and for challenging us on this program. I really don't take it for granted. You're a very busy person, a family person, and also a working woman. I don't take it for granted for giving yourself. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I think it's been a very good conversation, and I think we need to have more of these conversations. So thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be a very long conversation. I think We'll have to continue
Yes,
next time.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Viewers, I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for being present. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and also to share. Stay blessed.